Tech joining Jenna Smith for Illinois. Lori Bjork, third team all Big Ten, along with Harris Simpson and Chelsea Gordon. And for Purdue, as Nancy mentioned, Malone is the only returning starter from that Elite 8 team a year ago. Some good young talent, though, including Freeman and Bogdanova, Campbell, excellent post player, and Kalika France, the only senior starter. Had a double-double against Iowa in the semis. Purdue, the 3 seed, Illinois, the 9 seed, the lowest seed ever to reach the Big Ten tournament championship game. And a tie-up, 5 seconds in. June Courteau, Tyna Napier, and Beverly Roberts say they got to jump it up again because no possession.
Yeah, but I think Purdue likes this matchup on the jump a lot better.
Yeah, with Bogdanova at 6'4", going up against 5'8". And Purdue will start with the basketball, seeking its second consecutive Big Ten tournament title.
Purdue needs as many possessions as they can get. They are a low-scoring team at 58 points a game.
And Illinois tops in scoring defense in the Big Ten and held Michigan State to 41 points last night in the semifinal win. First shot of the game is off the mark by Campbell, and here comes Bjork for Illinois.
They want to push tempo anytime they have the numbers, Illinois, coming down the floor. So important for them with the keys. You don't know if fatigue is going to be a problem for Illinois because this is their 4th game in 4 days. Defense, this is what they do best. We talked about shutting down the other team and rebounding. That is a way for them to get into their offensive sets, complete the defense by getting the basketball.
You mentioned the fact that Illinois is playing 4 games in 4 consecutive days. First time that's happened in the Big Ten tournament. Jolette Law, Illinois' head coach, says that's not going to be a problem. Is that realistic?
I think it's realistic to a point because as a player you'd rather be playing than practicing and having a day off, and it's your adrenaline that will take you throughout the tournament. But in reality, she has a very short bench. She only plays 7 players. Fatigue can be a factor.
Illinois coming off that win over Michigan State last night, also beat the #1 seed Ohio State in the quarterfinals as Illinois commits the foul and France commits or is at the free throw line, and she hits the first free throw. And also win over Wisconsin for Illinois in the Big Ten tournament. Foul was on Fakara Malone, and both free throws, Bjork committed the foul.
See, this is good. I think you want to be able to press early before Illinois can get into their half court, just like Purdue just did.
Harris on the drive, gets the bounce. Rebecca Harris had 22 in that win over Ohio State and is averaging 17 points per game in the Big Ten tournament.
Well, that's what you want to do. If you're going to break the press, you have to put it through the middle to the opposite side of the floor where you have numbers to match it.
Danielle Campbell travels. Purdue, the 3 seed, not a great regular season. They're only a game above 500, but they did secure a bye and then knocked off Indiana and Iowa to reach the title game.
Well, this crowd could really be of some help to Purdue. They're about 45 minutes, an hour up the road. And if they can use an up-tempo game to add to possible fatigue by Illinois, I think they're in the driver's seat.
And as you look at the fact that they're 17 and 14, and Illinois is 19 and 13, as Illinois misses twice down low, but Jenna Smith gets the rebound, and then Harris gets the rebound and lost it. You'd have to think the loser is out, right? Not going to go to the NCAA tournament?
Loser will be absolutely out as Purdue pushes tempo and finishes at the window, only because I feel that Ohio State will still get in the tournament. Iowa will get in the tournament. Whoever wins this basketball game is in.
Iowa and Ohio State tied for the Big Ten regular season title. Ohio State swept Iowa, so it is the Big Ten champion. But obviously the winner of this game gets the automatic bid to the tournament as Bjork misses and Bogdanova rebounds.
Okay, what I'm seeing right now, the first couple shots by Illinois are short. Short shots means you're either nervous or you're tired.
And certainly, if they are tired, you'd understand that. 4 games in 4 days. Not not easy to do as Campbell misses for Purdue and the Illini have the ball.
Yeah, but we were at practice this morning. Gillette Law did not really make her team get on the court. They went and really went basically a walk-through through sets, didn't do anything physical.
Gordon with the deep shot, wouldn't fall. Malone gets the rebound. And Malone at 5 feet 3 inches tall, looking to push the tempo. And good feed down low by Freeman. And the basket for France. France with 4 of the 6 Purdue points.
Well, Purdue is switching their defenses. They're going some zone but man-to-man, and they're trying to force the ball away from Jenna Smith in the middle. They're making Illinois a jump shot shooting team. That pass got forced.
A good steal by Campbell, but a missed layup on the other end by France, and Illinois' ball.
You know, Dave, the other thing when you get into a tournament game like this, none of these kids on Illinois have any experience about being in this moment. The two people that have it, Karen Middleton, the assistant coach of Illinois, she was at Stanford with Tara Vanderveer for 10 years, and also Gillette Law from her years with Vivian Stringer at Rutgers. They have got to tell the story of what this moment means.
Another short shot there. Bjork's three-point attempt hitting the front iron, and Purdue with the ball in a 4-point lead. Here's Bogdanova. Had only 2 points against Iowa, and she matches that total already here in the first 4.5 minutes.
Oh, that is a beautiful counter move by Bogdanova. You get somebody who overcommits, you step through, create separation, and you finish.
She's a junior from Russia. Another shot that's off the mark. This one by Simpson. Out of bounds, it will stay Illinois basketball. Good start for Purdue, seeking its record 7th Big Ten tournament title, and they're getting some easy baskets in transition. That one by Freeman. Normally in the Big Ten tournament, the loser of the championship game is probably going to go to the NCAAs, but that's really not the case this year with all the upsets we've had.
You're absolutely right. The only people that are in right now in this conference is you're going to get Ohio State in, you're going to get Iowa, and the winner of this game. That's why there is such an urgency to come out strong, and so far Purdue has. You know, this is a team that averaged about 58 points a game in the regular season. In the tournament, they're averaging 72 points a game. They have upped the ante, and I like the fact by the first time out, Purdue already has pushed tempo, has 8 points.
Sharon Versup in her second year led Purdue in her first season to 31 wins. Meanwhile, Gillette Law in her first year at Illinois, you know, she's not used to being the underdog as Illinois commits a 5-second violation. Gillette played at Iowa and won 4 Big Ten titles. She's been an assistant at Rutgers, which was in contention for a national championship last year. She also played for the Globetrotters, and they're always the favorites. She was there for 4 years with them.
They're the favorite because the Trotters pay the officials. You can't lose. I played against them in 1988. There's no way you can beat the Globetrotters.
Even you, Nancy, as Campbell travels.
Now you got me upset. We couldn't win.
But you could pay the officials more, Nance, back then.
That's just on my ESPN salary.
After the Purdue turnover, it's Illinois basketball. Low-scoring first 5 minutes, but that's to be expected. Illinois held Michigan State to 41 points in yesterday's semifinal win, and Purdue scored 80, but that's the most it scored this year. In fact, only the 4th time they've had more than 70 this year. They're at the bottom of the league in scoring. Another turnover by Illinois. Malone in the front court challenges Harris and draws the foul. Second team foul on Illinois.
Top 2 draft choices that will be coming up in the WNBA in Candace Parker and Sylvia Fowles, and of course the renewed rivalry with Van Chancellor and Pat Summitt, who you mentioned to me. Tell me about her injury.
Well, Pat is actually doing quite well, we understand, despite the fact that she dislocated her shoulder while getting rid of a raccoon that was on the porch of her house. She thought it was going to attack her, so she actually attacked the raccoon and got it off of her porch. And I'm sure Eric Collins and Carolyn Peck have been grilling Pat about that encounter, and they'll have the full story for you coming up in the SEC final as Illinois turns it over again.
Well, Carolyn Peck knows a lot about Purdue basketball, part of that, right? 1999 championship team, and Lynn Dunn, who is now the head coach of the Indiana Fever. was the mastermind of this very successful program, really one of the best in women's college basketball history. Lynn Dunn, pretty remarkable.
And Lynn Dunn, a college roommate of Pat Summitt at Tennessee Martin, as Lacey Simpson is fouled on her way to the basket. That's the first Purdue foul. Going to go on Bogdanova.
They're actually 40 years of friendship that began when they were at UT Martin, and they were members of the Omega sorority. Can you imagine these two pledging together with their accents?
What I want to know, Nance, as you said, is Purdue makes a substitution and Keisha Mosley comes into the game after Simpson hits the first free throw. You said that Candace Parker and Sylvia Fowles will be 1-2 in the draft. Is it in that order, or is it possible that Fowles goes number 1 and Parker number 2?
I think that Los Angeles would take Candace Parker. She would have a great mentor in Lisa Leslie. I always think it's important, even for a young, talented player, to have somebody to teach the game.
Mosley missed the shot. She had a career-high 18 points against Iowa in the semifinals. And good drive by Harris, and draws a foul on Mosley. That's her first and the second on Purdue.
Very important turn of events right now for Illinois. They finally, these last couple possessions, started to attack the rim. They were being perimeter happy, and that could be a function of it's a young team and they're just trying to get the jitters out. They've not been in this situation before.
I think that's what Jolette Law told her team during the timeout.
I'm sure she just said, you know what, settle down, we're fine. The bread and butter of our defense is the fact that we make teams shoot contested shots and we take possessions away because we get a lot of steals.
4 points now for Rebecca Harris. Illinois just 1 of 9 from the field, but within 4 points of Purdue here in the Big Ten Tournament Championship game. Malone's 3 way off. Campbell tried to save it. Here come the Illini. Jenna Smith, first team all Big Ten. Hasn't really got a chance to touch it, only taken 1 shot. And another Purdue foul. That's on Malone, her first, third on the Boilermakers. But Smith's been quiet so far, and she's second in the Big Ten in both scoring and rebounds per game.
Yeah, but that's by design. That's the strategy of the game, to make her a passer and not give her opportunities to put her back to the basket or face up.
Does have 4 rebounds, but has not scored. Illinois is the 9 seed, the lowest seed ever to play in the final. And Purdue in the title game for the 3rd straight year. Lost to Ohio State 2 years ago, beat the Buckeyes last year. Only the second shot attempt for Jenna Smith, showing some range as she gets her first points of the game, and Illinois is down just 2.
Well, that's a part of her game that she has developed. We talked about the footwork, the passing, but now you take a post away from the basket and she has opportunities to shoot or drive.
Smith double figures in every game but 1. Nice drive there. Purdue back up by 4, 6 points now for France. But Jenna Smith had 6 points in a game in Michigan just a couple weeks ago, and that's the only game in her sophomore season she did not score in double figures.
You know, she's had a really unbelievable season. She's played really well against Gentel Lavender, who's co-player of the year in the Big Ten. She had a great game against Courtney Paris. She's just up the ante, even against Alyssa DeHaan, very physical type of encounter with those guys, but she's been in double figures and almost double rebounds in all those big games against players of her caliber.
Lacey Simpson with the basket, and Nancy, you pointed out that with Illinois' shot attempts coming up short, that maybe they were tired or maybe they were nervous, and it seems like they settled down a little bit.
Well, their defense will always give them a chance to win close basketball games, and you keep talking about them being the 9th seed. To me, that's kind of a misnomer, because the last week of the season, all the Big Ten teams were bunched up, and a win here or there slid you either up or down.
Illinois had 10 Big Ten losses, but they are the first team ever to have 9 wins, or 8 wins rather, as a 9th place team. Jenna Smith showing her range. Illinois down just 2. Purdue and Illinois here in the Big Ten title games, part of Championship Week, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods. And Willis Reed will be featured in that film, one of your favorites growing up.
One of my heroes growing up, a New York Knicks fan. But, you know, everybody said, well, Willis Reed is 6'10". Willis Reed was about 6'7", 6'8", and he and Wes Unseld used to have just unbelievable battles on the boards.
It's going to be a great film. Look forward to watching that. Purdue's basketball in a 2-point lead. Here's Malone from outside. Unable to knock down anything from long range. Neither team has hit a 3. They're combined 0 for 5 from the field.
You know, Dave, with the offense of Purdue, they're one of the worst shooting teams in the conference. They're last in three-point shooting, about 29%. They're near the bottom in field goal percentage. But I think because they lose Katie Gerald a year ago to the WNBA, they lost to graduation Aaron Lawless. They lost Lindsay Wisdom Hilton, who is coming back as their best player, and they lose Jody Howe. They have overcome a lot of adversity, so you're seeing role players being asked to step up and contribute big-time shots and big-time minutes.
And Wisdom Hilton tore ACL last summer while playing for Team USA against Russia. Here's Bogdanova, who's from Russia, missed the 3. And Harris on the run for Illinois, but Purdue gets back on defense. And maybe that's why it took until now for Purdue to gel, with a lot of those role players having to step up as scorers.
Well, what they do is they get a lot of their points off their defense. They switch it like they did right now. They'll go some man, they'll go some zone. It's very difficult to read. But the other thing is they get to the foul line almost 115 times more than their opponents on the season.
Harris off of the 3, but it will stay Illinois basketball. The team's now combined 0 for 8 from three-point land. Illinois shooting just 21% from the field. Purdue not much better at 31%. From the foul line, Lacey Simpson with a couple of baskets. And she's a role player for Illinois that stepped up at times this year in the scoring department. She has 6 points. And in a win a week ago today against Purdue in the regular season finale, she had 13 points.
Well, she's not normally a scorer, but her points were very welcome. Especially, everybody thinks the confidence that Illinois got. It started with that win against Purdue.
Malone missed the 3. Harris on the other end in the lane. Can't get it to drop, and Bogdanova gets it out to Malone. Here's Freeman. Bogdanova brings it back out.
She is so big, long, and lanky, but she plays the game just a little too fast. The junior herself is recovering from ACL surgery on her right knee.
Through the hands of France and out of bounds. And Sharon Bursip wants to talk it over. Timeout, Purdue. We are tied at 12 midway through the first half of the 2008 Big Ten title game. Purdue seeking its 7th Big Ten tournament title. Illinois its first. The Illini last appeared in the championship game in '99 and lost to Purdue.
Both teams do such a great job of filling the lane, and they swarm the basketball and they take away your passing lanes.
York turns it over. 5th giveaway by Jolette Law's Illini. Spent the last 12 years at Rutgers working under C. Vivian Stringer. She replaced Teresa Grentz here at Illinois. Freeman from outside, and finally a long-range jumper goes. That was a 2, but still that might open things up a little bit for Purdue offensively.
Well, Kiki Freeman's been playing excellent basketball. She had 12 points, 10 rebounds in the game against Indiana earlier in the tournament.
Freeman, 3rd team all Big Ten. She was the leading scorer during the regular season for Purdue. And she gets a rebound off the Simpson miss. Good rotation over to Freeman in the corner. Now back up to France.
A little bit of a zone defense here by Illinois, just trying to get something going.
A pretty move by Danielle Campbell. Had 20 points last night against Iowa in the semifinals. She's one of those players that had to step up this year for Purdue. Started just 1 game a year ago, but now their 2nd leading scorer.
Well, she really took a lot of the responsibility when Wisdom Hilton went out, and another layup by the junior, Kiki Freeman. Beautiful play by Freeman. She went to the ball, not the player, cut down the angle of the pass, and finished with the layup. For a team that doesn't score very much, we talked about 58 points a game for Purdue. You must generate points off your defense, off the foul line, and offensive rebounding, and then whatever you can get out of that half-court offense, I mean, that's just icing.
3 steals already for Purdue, among the league leaders during the regular season in the Big Ten. 6 straight points for the Boilermaker, so Illinois goes to its top scorer, Jenna Smith, but she missed the bunting.
So I think they're going to have to move Jenna Smith around because they're just sitting on the block waiting for her.
Another Purdue turnover. Boilermakers by 6. Jenna Smith, first team all Big Ten, just 1 basket so far though. Even though it certainly looked like it on TV, but obviously we're talking about the UCLA-Cal men's game yesterday when UCLA won on a controversial field goal at the end. It looked like it came from over the basket, but again, very hard to tell, certainly for the officials, because that's not a reviewable matter.
Well, it's not reviewable, but right now this 1-2-2 zone defense flattens out a little bit to a 2-3. And what they're trying to do is make Illinois shoot the ball from the outside. They want to take the middle away.
Shot clock down to 4. Tough shot by Lori Bjork, averaging 10 points per game, but that's her first basket of this contest after missing her first 4 shots from the field.
Well, at least she's attacking the rim, and she averages almost 10 points a game. Those players who are scorers have to get touches.
Campbell, nice block by Smith, but called for a foul, her first and the 3rd on the Illini.
Want to make sure you go inside. See, she gets lower than the level of the defender, and then she uses her bodies, and let's face it, lefties are lucky. No, I'm only kidding, but they seem to always have that nice touch, that nice rotation, whether they're bowling or pitching or making layups.
Was there someone that dominated you at one point in your career that was lefty and that's stuck with you?
There were many. There were many.
I doubt that. Campbell with the first free throw. 3 points in the game for her. See the numbers for Campbell on the year. 3rd team all Big Ten. Was 2nd in the conference in steals as well.
Well, let's remember a year ago she averaged 4.7, 3.6 rebounds. So you double her minutes, she's giving you more productivity, but you'd like to see that from, what is the growth pattern of a kid from their freshman to their sophomore year?
Smith fouled on her way to the basket, and she'll go to the line for 2. 14th foul on Purdue. First time in Big Ten history that champion had 5 losses. Ohio State and Iowa both with 5 defeats. And Illinois, the first time the 9th place team had 8 wins.
Yeah, I mean, that's a surprise, but I have to tell you, the last 2 years, only 3 teams have gone to the NCAA tournament from the Big Ten. Very unusual. This is a very storied conference, not only with talent, but with productivity. They're used to getting 5, 6 teams in.
Bogdanova to the bench with 2 personal fouls. And you'd have to think that the loser of this game here today is not going to go to the NCAA tournament. Purdue is 17 and 14 overall. Illinois is 19 and 13 overall. And with the SMU winning in our game we saw earlier, that's probably going to take a bit away from somebody, right? Because UTEP's going to go anyway. UTEP
is definitely going. Keith Adams had a great season with UTEP, but congratulations to the Mustangs on that's a pretty good upset right there in Conference USA, and Rhonda Rampolla gets her team back to the NCAA tournament.
Jenna Smith goes to the bench, and Audrey Tabin comes into the game for Illinois.
Well, that's going to be an interesting replacement right here. Taven, who's the senior, has played well, started 11 games this year, but certainly she doesn't have the offensive productivity that Jenna Smith has.
Yeah, that's 19 points, 9 rebounds. It's on the bench right now. Contact, but no foul called on the drive by Kiki Freeman, so it will stay Purdue basketball. Only 5 in the shot clock. You
know, you would think if you're Illinois and you are the best defensive team in the conference, you want to make the kids' shoulders go sideline to sideline, not turn it up to the rim. They are not a good outside shooting team, so play the drive.
And a legal screen called on Danielle Campbell. That's her first personal, 5th Purdue team foul.
Okay, this is a little bit of a moving screen. Good intent to try and get her teammate open, but her feet were not set. You know, those are the ones you ask your players, go there, set these monster screens. Your job is to get your teammate open, and then you're just a split second late, and it doesn't matter.
Comes back, though, and makes a play defensively after Freeman redirects it to her. 7th Illinois turnover. Malone, great bounce pass, and a layup for Keisha Mosley. And Purdue leads by 8.
Boy, Malone is so good. Back in high school, she was a McDonald's All-American finalist. Her last 7 games of the regular season, she averaged almost 14 points a game, and she was stroking the 3 for her team, and that's why Purdue's in this situation.
Simpson feeds Tabin. Tabin couldn't hit the layup and then commits a foul. Her first. Fourth on Illinois.
Look how low Malone gets when she's attacking you. And she gets in there, she's attacking your shoulder. She's smart. She keeps the ball in the middle of the floor. She gets the defender up. She draws and she dishes. Bigs love guards who can do this. Right here, that little hesitation up. You drop to the front of the iron. All you have to do is finish.
And Mosley did just that for her first point. She has just a freshman from Detroit. As you look at Malone, who's only a sophomore, some good young players in this Purdue team. Mosley averaged 6 points per game during the regular season, then put up 18 against Iowa in the semifinals last night. Couldn't come up with the catch there, and Simpson's got it for Illinois.
You must be able to read where the double team is coming from as Smith takes her game beyond three.
That's her 10th three-point basket of the season. Both of her made field goals have come from outside. One from about 16 feet, and that one from behind the arc. She's got 5 points now.
Well, she's hit about 9 of those threes in the last 2 weeks of the season, so she has expanded her game.
Freeman answering on the other end. Good ball movement by Purdue. Freeman with 8 points now. Winner gets the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. Loser likely goes home. Could go to the NIT perhaps. Nice block by France on Smith, but out of bounds to Illinois.
You know, what Purdue did earlier in the game was that they were doubling her. Now Smith is one-on-one, and it almost seems like she's waiting for the trap to come to her. She's short on that little layup, and then the help came from the ball side.
Harris out to Smith, and this time Malone gets in her face. Simpson left free for a moment, and Lacey Simpson, only a 24% three-point shooter, gets the basket and now has 9. Illinois is down just 4.
Well, Simpson is known for her smarts in handling the basketball. Best assist-to-turnover ratio in the conference at 2-to-1. So these are bonus points for Jolette Law.
And back-to-back threes by the Illini, and now a steal by Harris. 1-on-3 out to Bjork for another three. Got it! Illinois down just a point.
Bjork, an unbelievable three-point shooter for this team, about 40% on the season.
Illinois is the 9th seed here in the Big Ten Championship in Indianapolis. Down just a point to the 3 seed as Purdue turns it over again. I look forward to getting Kara's thoughts on the first half here as well, with Purdue leading Illinois by 1 with the Big Ten Championship, Tournament Championship at stake. Ohio State, the Big Ten champion officially, as the conference crowns the regular season winner as its champ. But the automatic bid goes to whoever wins this game.
Well, so far Illinois is showing that they came out a little bit nervous at the beginning, but now they're going back and relaxing, attacking the rim, getting the ball, doing inside, outside, so Purdue cannot predict what's going to happen offensively.
And Lacey Simpson, who has 11 points, gives Illinois its first lead of the game, an 8-0 run. The Illini have 3 threes during this stretch. France can't answer. Purdue still without a 3-point basket as a team. And Simpson tried to feed the post. Chelsea Gordon, but was knocked out of bounds. Championship week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods continues next on ESPN2 with the SEC Women's Championship. Tennessee and LSU should be a great one. Perhaps the 2 best players in college basketball, Candace Parker and Sylvia Fowles, going at it. Another 3. This time it's Gordon. That's 4 triples for Illinois in the last 3 minutes.
Well, that's been the difference right now, is that they've hit their outside shot. And Purdue now is going to, they have not put the ball inside since the beginning of the first half.
Freeman missed. Gordon on the other end. Tough shot by Harris, and it wouldn't go, but then Harris comes up with a steal, just stripping Freeman.
You know, we talked about Illinois, not a very deep team. They go about 7. Harris and Bjork, they split the point guard position and responsibilities, although Bjork is the main shooter, the all-time leading scorer as far as threes in Illinois history.
Simpson off the mark, pulled down by Mosley. Illinois in a 14-2 run. Malone taking it strong to the goal and fouled hard.
Love it. That's what you're supposed to do at any level. If somebody comes to the rim, especially a little, you make her know that you're there.
5th team foul on the Illini, first on Lacey Simpson. And Malone, only a 60% free throw shooter, will go to the line. You see 5 steals against Iowa. She had 8 steals against Indiana. So with 13 coming into today, she is 2 shy of the Big Ten tournament record of 15 steals. Simpson goes to the bench, and Stephanie Shalene, who is instant offense off the pine, will come into the game.
But as you were talking about those steals, when you get steals in the front court, when Malone steals it, that usually leads to baskets on the other end.
Malone with 4 points. Purdue down 2. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. You mentioned Shalene on the floor for Illinois. She played only 13 minutes against Purdue a week ago today, and she had 14 points during that span. Couldn't come up with an offensive rebound, though, after the Smith miss. Freeman's pass attempt for Mosley was too high, and it will go to the Illini.
I still think you have to give Jenna Smith enough touches that when they do collapse on her, she can kick it out to the outside shooter, but their offense must run through her.
First team all Big Ten, 19 points per game, 9.5 rebounds per game during the regular season.
She's pretty much on pace to break every scoring, rebounding, block shot record in Illinois history.
5.6 rebounds in this game, but just 2 of 8 from the field. Harris lost it, and it'll go to Purdue.
This is a great experience time for both these teams, young teams. Learn how to use the clock. You must know time, score, and then you'll know possession.
Malone off the Campbell screen.
There's still plenty of time on the shot clock, but get in your triangle and attack the rim.
And that's what Mosley does. Second field goal for Mosley. And we're tied again at 28.
If they take a quick shot, they can have a 2-for-1 Illinois, or they might just want to play it out.
Here's Smith facing up on Mosley, draws a foul. But Purdue did have a foul to give. That's the second on Mosley, 16 foul on the Boilermakers.
A really heady play by Jenna Smith, realizing that Mosley really doesn't have the lateral quickness to cut her off baseline side, and that's the route she took.
York's inbound pass saved by Shalene to Harris.
Just get the ball if you're Harris in the middle of the floor, see what your options are.
About a 4-second difference between the game and shot clocks. Seven seconds to shoot. Timer down to 3. Bjork, tough shot with 2 on the shot clock. Illinois by 2. 2 seconds to go. Malone to France, did not get the shot off. It will not count. And Illinois, the 9 seed in the Big Ten tournament, leads the 3 seed Purdue 30-28.
The play. Purdue has to get back to what they did early in the first half. Go inside right there. That's Campbell with the basketball. Right here. You're going to look. You put your 3-point shooter in the corner, and look what happens to your post player. Defense leaves, they vacate, you step through, and you have a one-on-one opportunity against your opponent. I really believe, Dave, that is what Purdue needs to do. They can't just give Campbell touches. They have to give her touches where she can score.
Only 3 shot attempts for Campbell, made 1, and Purdue was 0 for 5 from 3 in that first half. Purdue seeking a record 7th Big Ten tournament championship. Illinois has never won it. Its last appearance in the finals was against Purdue back in 1999.
You know, the other factor in that half is when Bogdanova went to the bench with her second foul with 6:45 to go. Illinois went on a 14-6 run. She brings length, and she also brings some offense on the floor for Purdue.
and 5 straight threes by Illinois to take a 5-point lead. Here's Bogdanova, picked up 2 fouls and had to lead the game, and that's when Illinois went on that run. And she promptly contributes on offense to start the second half for the Boilermakers.
Well, when she is hitting that outside shot, that foul line jump shot, it's going to open the inside up for Danielle Campbell.
See Illinois making 5 straight threes, 34% on the season from behind the arc. The Illini can't come up with points on that trip. Malone pushing the pace.
Smart play by Purdue that time. They did not have numbers, so they back it out and try and get a possession.
Here's Malone from 3. Hit the side of the backboard. So it's still a live ball. That was not like yesterday's UCLA Cal game. And then the basket for Kalika France. 8 points now for France, and it's 33-32 Illinois.
You just have to respect the speed and quickness of Malone when she gets in the lane and she makes you rotate. Shooters love that when they know they're going to get the kick-out pass.
Smith with the miss. Jenna Smith, first team All Big Ten, second leading scorer and rebounder in the conference, but 5 points, 6 rebounds in this game. Purdue turns it over. Illinois ball with a 1-point lead. Here's Simpson, who led all scorers with 11 in the first half. Out to Bjork, who had it blocked from behind by Campbell. It will stay Illinois basketball. Our first half stats brought to you by Guinness. We mentioned the outstanding 3-point shooting by Illinois and lack thereof for Purdue.
Yeah, that's been a problem because they shoot about 29%. So you would think they would hit at least one of those shots.
And already 0 for 1 here in the half on that one by Malone that hit the side of the backboard. Smith, nice pass by Simpson, and Smith scores off the window.
Dave, the give and go is still one of the most difficult plays to guard in basketball. You start your post out high, you dump the ball to the wing, and you dive to the front of the rim, which Smith did.
After the block, Illinois running. Harris, and Illinois back up 5. And that will force Sharon Burson, the Purdue head coach, to call for a timeout. Kenna Smith, 7 points, 6 rebounds in the game. She was second in the Big Ten in both scoring and rebounding during the regular year. Illinois wasn't supposed to be here, the number 9 seed. Purdue, even though it was the 3 seed, used to being in this situation. They've won a record 6 tournament championships, and they've been to the NCAA tournament 14 straight years.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable, the history and tradition that Purdue has. We mentioned in 1999, they win the national championship. Across from us, we saw Stephanie White, the great Stephanie White, who is now an assistant coach with the Chicago Sky, in the house.
And meanwhile, an offensive foul is called on Campbell. That's her second personal, and the first on Purdue here in the half. You're talking about the success that Purdue has had over the years. Beat Illinois back in '99 for the title, and Stephanie White was there for the Boilermakers. Been an interesting year in the Big Ten with Ohio State and Iowa. Co-Big Ten champions, although Ohio State actually was the Big Ten champion because it beat Iowa twice, but both those schools had 5 losses. First time that's ever happened where the champion had that many defeats.
But you're seeing that after maybe like the top tier of teams, it is so competitive, that next wave of 5 or 6 teams, and we call it parity.
And that's to your point about Illinois, even though it's a 9 seed, not really being like a normal 9 seed in the 11-team league. I mean, they were 8 and 10 in the conference, and 6 of those league losses were by 3 points or less. They all came down to the last possession.
Yeah, which is unbelievable, because if you make one more foul shot or one more layup, you think what you just said, 6 times, or 0-6, and coming down to the last couple seconds of a game.
Danielle Campbell puts it home, and Purdue's back within 3. 6 points in the game for Campbell, averaging 12 points per game coming in.
And these guys split the season series. Both teams held serve on their home court, but it was that last regular season game where Illinois beat Purdue that everybody points to that as where they got their confidence for postseason.
Meanwhile, on offense for Purdue, Danielle Campbell sticking it in, trying to keep the Boilermakers in it. Big Ten final from Indianapolis. Illinois leads Purdue by 3, and Nancy Lieberman's going to take us inside the play.
Well, one of the things that Purdue has to do Every time on ball reversal through the post, right here, you see Smith, when the ball leaves her fingertips, she must jump to the ball and make the cutter go behind, and then you deny it. She does not do that, Campbell. Jenna Smith front cuts her, gets to the front of the rim, and that becomes a great offensive set of execution for Illinois.
Illinois hit 5 straight threes and then went inside. Now Jenna Smith at the line. Still Purdue is +6 points in the paint. Bogdanova picked up her 3rd personal foul. And meanwhile, Fakar Malone, who was averaging 20 points per game in the Big Ten tournament coming in, does not have a field goal, only has 4 points for Purdue.
And that's been a problem, because if you're not going to get a lot of touches and points out of Campbell like she had in the first half, and then if Malone is not giving you some of that offense, you're going to struggle.
1 out of 2 for Jenna Smith. 8 points now for the first team all Big Ten performer. And Illinois leads by 4.
Illinois just such a great job with their defense, but I really think a lot of their mental toughness comes from Jolette Law. That is what she was taught to do in the Vivian Stringer system. Defense first, shut teams down and make them use their weakness.
First field goal of the game and the first 3-point basket of the game for Purdue. First shot made by Malone from the floor. Purdue down 1.
And good recognition against the zone, going inside out. 3 or 4 passes shifted the zone.
Malone chastising Bjork on defense. Shot clock down to 10. Harris on the drive and the block by Freeman, but an offensive rebound for Smith, but she traveled. And Carolyn certainly will be keeping an eye on both Sylvia Fowles and Candace Parker. Parker announcing that she is going to forego her final year of eligibility, although remember, she had a knee injury her freshman year, so she did spend 4 years at Tennessee, but she's going pro. And that was a great move by Lacey Simpson down the lane. Her first basket of the second half, had 11 in the first half.
Nobody should be able to go coast to coast to the front of the rim like that with somebody not sliding over and making her go sideline to sideline. But I want to mention with Candace Parker, she will graduate in May. She is an honor student, and she has finished her eligibility. And that's really the only way the WNBA will accept you. That is part of the rules.
Mosley with the basket has 6. Purdue within 1. Simpson right back at it. Couldn't hit. Ricochets out to Gordon. Illinois has not been to the NCAA tournament since 2003. Purdue has been there every year since 1994. The loser of this game unlikely to get an at-large bid. Nice move by Jenna Smith. And they're really going to her here, Nancy, in the second half.
Well, they have to go to her because Jenna Smith, who, you know, before every basketball game, she calls her father Frank. They talk about inspiring type of things. They talk about strategy, but it really gives her confidence to get on the phone with Dad. I love that.
And she's now scored in double figures in 32 out of 33 games this year. The 3 won't go for France. Backside rebound, Simpson.
But also think about what you just said, Dave. With all the winning that Purdue's done in their history, as Smith goes to the basket on the left side, they have had Lynn Dunn, they've had Nell Fortner, they've had Carolyn Peck, they've had Christy Curry, and now they've had Sharon Bursip as their coach, and all they've done is win. That says a lot about the program.
Pretty good coaches, pretty good ability to recruit. Campbell missed after Freeman couldn't hit it. A block by Smith, but she's called for a second foul. That's only the first team foul on Illinois.
Illinois, anytime they can get some easy buckets, look at that. She gets such deep position in the lane. The next possession down, same thing. She gives a good target. She read the defense, saw where Mosley was coming, turned opposite shoulder. That's great feel and recognition.
And Smith really coming alive here in the second half. She now has 12 points, 9 rebounds. Danielle Campbell, who had 20 against Iowa in the semis last night. At the line shooting 2, only 6 points for her in this game. Is a very good free throw shooter at 79%.
That is Lynn Dunn right there. She knows this building quite well. She is the head coach of the Indiana Fever. Just got that position, but here's the relationship. Sharon Bursip was the team captain on Lynn Dunn's first team at Purdue in 1987 and 1988. And then she was a part of Purdue winning 3 conference titles, went to 7 NCAA tournaments, a trip to the Final Four, 8 20-win seasons in 9 years, and I am getting tired of talking about all the success that Lynn Dunn has brought to women's collegiate basketball. She's a keeper.
Yeah, Versyp was a point guard for her, and Versyp has actually touched all of the major universities in Indiana. She was born in Mishawaka, which is essentially where Notre Dame is, and she coached in Indiana prior to being the head coach at Purdue. But when you're getting a chance to go to your alma mater, it's okay to go in state, I guess, although the Hoosier fans don't feel that way.
Well, she's done a great job. But okay, if we had a little matchup with the point guards and we took Versyp and we took Jolette Law, I mean, those are 2 competitive women right there on the sidelines.
Malone missed, and then Illinois couldn't score on the other end. Jolette Law was an assistant on the team that went to the national title game at Rutgers last year. Great player at Iowa, 4 straight Big Ten titles. Can she get a tournament title as a coach in her first year at Illinois, first year as a head coach?
And, you know, you have to respect what Teresa Grants did for Illinois when she came there. They started out on an incredible run, and now Law brings this energy and this defense, and it's up the ante now with what she's brought her team.
Bogdanova got great position, and Malone found her, and Purdue is down just 1 again to Illinois.
That's the 3 Ds: dribble, draw, and dish.
Only about an hour or so from West Lafayette, but a pretty good turnout by Illinois fans as well here in Indianapolis at Conseco Fieldhouse, where Purdue is 20-5 all time. Steal by Malone, but she couldn't handle it. Illinois' ball. Lacey Simpson has been the offensive story for the Illini, taking it coast to coast as they seek their first ever Big Ten tournament title. Boilermakers, the 3 seed, scored a season-high 80 points in the semis against Iowa last night. Illinois is the 9 seed and an RPI of 83, so you would think Illinois is not going to go to the NCAA tournament if it doesn't win here today. Purdue, with an RPI of 40, might have a better chance, but by losing, Purdue, if it were to lose, would be 17-15, unlikely to get into the NCAA tournament.
You know, the Big Ten, we talked about, they lost a lot of great players to graduation, a lot of injuries, new coaches, new styles. But I really think that this conference is going to be on the upswing. This year against the SEC, they were 8-2, which says, you know, they can compete with the big boys out there.
Turnover by Illinois and an opportunity for Purdue to take the lead. That's the 10th giveaway by the Illini. Purdue trailed at halftime by 2. Right now the deficit is 1. Bogdanova's 3, no. Kept alive by Campbell. Can't put it back up and in, though. However, Purdue will keep.
And Campbell is all over the glass, and we mentioned when Bogdanova is able to get that outside shot, it makes that defender, that second post player, get out of the lane and gives a little bit more space down low.
You have to think Ohio State and Iowa are going to get in as at-large teams from the Big Ten, as Bogdanova can't score, and then the winner of this game gets the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. But that might be it out of the Big Ten, just 3 teams.
And you have to think about it. You know, certainly if you're Pam Borton at Minnesota, you're hoping that the committee will look at your RPI and look at your good wins, and you know, and know that you've had a pretty good season. Whoever loses this game, you'll hope that the committee will look at your RPI, your strength of schedule, what you did in non-conference.
Jenna Smith took a shot to the face, and a Purdue foul. It's 3rd. Let's take a look at a blind resume here. Right? We gave you a little bit of a hint on the RPI. Which team had the RPI of 83? And then you look at the conference wins for that team, 8, as opposed to the team that had 12 conference wins, but only 21 overall, as Bogdanova picks up her 4th foul. Back to that in a moment. But again, we did give you a hint about a minute ago on which team had the RPI of 83 on the right there. Oh, nice move by Simpson. Banks it in. She's got 15 points. Meanwhile, Purdue does not have a single player in double figures in scoring.
No, but they try to get balanced within their offense, but you mentioned that Malone has not scored well in this game, and neither has Campbell.
And Malone just 1 of 8 from the field. Campbell 2 of 6. And a turnover traveled by France. All right, back to the blind resume. Here's the answer. All right, the one on the right's Illinois. We told you that they had the RPI of 83. And Temple, do they get in?
Well, Dawn Staley's team, I think that they do get into the tournament because they just play a great non-conference schedule. They have a pretty decent RPI.
Entry pass to Jenna Smith, who is fouled, and she'll go to the line for 2. Illinois leads the Big Ten in free throw shooting. 9 minutes to go here in the second half at Conseco Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. The Big Ten tournament title game with Nancy Lieberman. I'm Dave Pasch. Illinois is the first 9 seed ever to get to the finals. This is old hat for Purdue. 3rd straight year in the championship game, seeking its record 7th Big Ten tournament title, but trailing by 3 as Smith has 2 free throws. And
if this gets into a foul shooting contest, it will not be a contest because Illinois is #1 in the Big Ten, 78%, and you win tight games with low turnovers and knocking down your foul shots.
And they get to the line. This will be only the 10th free throw attempt for Illinois as a team, but in the last 2 games before this one, 56 free throw attempts. Meanwhile, Purdue is perfect at the line so far in the game, but it's a 5-point Illini lead.
Yeah, but the problem for Purdue is the fact that their last game against Iowa, they took 37 foul shots, and they only had 6 turnovers. So they had an opportunity to set themselves up for a win. That's a huge shot by France right there.
Only the second made 3 for Purdue. France has 11 points.
The way Purdue wins this basketball game is they get fast break points and they get to the foul line.
Illinois has never won the Big Ten tournament. A steal by Malone, but then taking it right back is Harris. And a jump ball on the alternate possession arrow. It will go to Purdue.
You want to make sure you step in and you meet the pass. Right here, France in rhythm, catches, squares her hips and her feet to the rim and lets it go. The transfer from Maryland. You know, that's kind of cool that when she transferred from Maryland a year ago, January, she could start immediately because there was a rule then that if you had already gotten your degree, and she graduated in 3.5 years, her major was accounting, so she could just step into the lineup.
Yeah, that rule no longer in effect. It was around for just a short period of time. Campbell missed the putback, got it back, and then gets fouled by Simpson, her second, and the second on Illinois as a team. Here we've got a good one as well. Illinois leading Purdue by 2 with a lot of time left. 8 minutes to go in the second half.
You know, you talk about the matchup of Sylvia Fowle and Candace Parker. I think it's going to come down to the point guard. I think it's how Erica White runs her team at LSU or how Shannon Bobbitt runs her basketball team at Tennessee. Those are the guys that really start the engine for their programs.
Of course, Sylvia Fowles and Candace Parker will be on display up next year on ESPN2. Pretty good individual effort so far in this game out of Simpson and Smith for Illinois. France is the leading scorer for Purdue with 11 points. And meanwhile, Campbell, seeking her 10th point, also has 8 rebounds in this game for the Boilermakers. And we are tied at 48.
This is what college basketball is about. It's about digging deep and making sure that when you play this game, just like Malone has done off the steal, that you are playing to win.
Malone closing in on a Big Ten tournament record in steals, puts Purdue back up 2.
You steal in the corner court, you get an opportunity for a score. You steal down under the basket, you get a possession.
And that is unofficially her second steal, giving her 15 for the tournament. That ties the record. 9 points as well and 6 assists for Malone. Almost a steal by France. Plenty of time in the shot clock for Illinois. Campbell goes down. Pass out to Bjork for 3, no. But tracking it down is Gordon for a reset.
Illinois has pretty much throughout the whole game, Dave. They run 4 around 1, 4 guards and Jenna Smith on the inside.
Entry pass to Smith. And a tie-up. It will go to Illinois on the possession arrow.
Watch Malone here. You know she's low to the ground anyway. On the ball coming up is when she steals it. There's no force going down. The steal, the finish. You better use that arm bar, and you must protect the rock.
Again, the offense going through Smith. Shot clock inside of 10. Tough shot by Smith. And the foul on Campbell is her third. Opportunity for a three-point play for Jenna Smith. Campbell shaken up on the play as well.
Well, when you see this move by Jenna Smith, it's the ball fake. Watch this little subtle ball fake that made the defender go out to the perimeter. One-on-one. I've got the moves that I can beat you.
That is a tough move by sophomore Jenna Smith. A shot to the face, and Campbell's the one that committed the foul.
It doesn't matter if you have that mouth guard or what. When you get hit like that, it stings.
Smith, a 79% foul shooter, but could not convert the three-point play. She's only 3 of 7 now at the foul line in this game.
These are moments that you must read the defense. You have to ball fake to get angles.
Whistle and a foul on Simpson is her third. And the winner of this game obviously gets the automatic bid, as they're looking at whether Jenna Smith has some blood on her elbow. And the loser of this game probably not going to the NCAA tournament, because Illinois is the 9th place team in the Big Ten. And Purdue was only a game over 500 prior to the Big Ten tournament.
You can see what Jenna Smith has done right here. I really believe that your stars in crucial games like this have to be stars. Role players are role players, but you better come with the goods.
The top 2 seeds, Ohio State and Iowa, both losing. And Minnesota also going down. Illinois, the lowest seed ever to reach the finals. The lowest seed to win was a 5 seed. Purdue has won it a couple of times as a 3 seed. In fact, has never lost a Big Ten tournament game as a 3 seed, and right now has a 1-point lead, with Mosley shooting 1 more free throw.
Yeah, but how about the coaches? You have Gillette Law, first year, brings her team to the championship game of the tournament. Sharon Versup, second year back, 2 years in a row, they're in the championship game, and she's already won 1 title.
And Lacey Simpson didn't like the call, but she just picked up her 4th personal, and she's the second leading scorer for Illinois tonight. Tabin will have to replace her here.
But check out the hustle here. We talked about the intangibles that win championships. You go for the basketball. You give up the body to go for the ball.
That's what happened. And the foul on Simpson is her 4th team foul in Illinois. Purdue ball leading by 1 with 6.5 to go.
Back to man-to-man defense by Illinois. You must know whether to go over, under, or if you're switching player to player. Those are real important moments.
Malone down the lane, got it swatted by Smith. And a jump ball as Bjork got tied up by France. It will stay Purdue basketball on the possession arrow. Great hustle again by the Boilermakers. And you have to wonder, Jolette's team, is it getting tired? 4th game in 4 days. Or is it all adrenaline at this point, Nancy?
It's absolutely adrenaline. You're so right on that. You are not thinking about being tired. You're thinking about winning a championship and then putting your thumbprint on the history of your program.
Another foul called in Illinois. This one on Smith. That's her 3rd as she went for the block.
When teams are aggressive, they are attacking the player. Look at this, 4-round 1, the post up by Mosley. She goes right underneath Jenna Smith. Shot blockers want to extend their arms. If you come up through their chin, you take away their strength.
Mosley missed the first free throw, though. She's missed 2 in a row. 15 foul on Illinois. Purdue's only missed 2 free throws so far in the game, as Mosley gets the second one to drop. Big Ten championship at stake, and an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament.
Appears to have just been shined prior to that picture.
Ohio State, for all intents and purposes, is the Big Ten champion because they won the regular season title, shared it with Iowa, but swept the Hawkeyes in the regular season. But they don't get the automatic bid. That goes to the tournament champion. Tabin, wild shot, no. Pulled down by Mosley. Chance for Purdue to add to its 2-point advantage. Freeman spotting up. That's a 2, and it's a 4-point Purdue lead. Illinois calls timeout.
Beautiful play by the leading scorer for the Boilermakers, Freeman, in rhythm. She loves that baseline side. She's a jump shot type shooter. Look at Lynn Dunn. She must be proud of her team. On the catch, hands were to the passer. That communicates, I want the basketball, and she got it. Same thing here, in rhythm. She got air underneath her shot.
Only 9 points against Iowa in the semifinals, but they didn't need her offense, as Campbell had 20 points in that game against the Hawkeyes in the semis last night. But Freeman is stepping up in this game.
Well, Kiki Freeman has to feel good about herself, Dave. A year ago, she was a sub coming off the bench. She was a post player in high school. She has had to work on her face-up game where she has that catch and shoot type of mentality.
How does Illinois answer? Lacey Simpson, who's had a big game, is on the bench with 4 fouls. They have gone to Jenna Smith in the second half in the low post.
Well, they have to execute. They have to make good passes, go inside, and read the double team. Whoever leaves their player must cut to the rim.
And Smith was looking to pass out of that double team, and meanwhile there was a foul away from the ball on Freeman. That's only her first. It's the 16th foul on Purdue.
I think Illinois was pretty lucky that time because they look like they're not sure of where the next pass is when the double team is coming.
Everybody was covered as well when Smith turned to fire out of that double team.
So usually Harris will play the point when they're trying to find a shot off some screens for Bjork.
5 minutes to go here in the second half.
You can see it's just stagnant. Whoever gets the ball, everybody else is just standing and watching.
Smith driving with 5 on the shot clock. Can't score. Knocked away, though, by Malone. It will stay Illinois ball. You know, the Illini lost Danielle Crutcher, their second leading scorer, last month. She quit the team for personal reasons. Jolette Law said they held a team meeting where she said, all right, I'm taking the trash out. Whoever doesn't want to be here, go ahead and walk out the door. But if you want to be here, I want to win. And they rallied around Jolette Law, and they've got themselves in a position for their first ever Big Ten tournament title.
Well, you're right. They went 8-4 after she left the team.
Smith, no. And cleared by France.
That's great team defense right there by Purdue. Swarming Smith when she has the ball.
Mosley down low, had a big game against Iowa in the semis with 18 points. She's got 10 today. Purdue leads by 6.
Well, you mentioned she had 18, but she had 12 against Indiana. This was a kid earlier in the year who didn't play 5 of the first 8 games. She was suspended early, but she has worked her way back to be a very important part of this team coming off the bench.
And again, you have to wonder, is Illinois fatigued? 4 games in 4 days. They have not been able to score the last few times down. Wild shot. Harris got it back. Shot clock is at 3. Smith with 1 on a timer. Big shot by the sophomore.
She has such a beautiful shot.
Second 3 of the game for Smith gets Illinois within 3.
You know what, we talked about that she's a low post player. She's expanded her game outside of 3, and that was a clutch shot to keep her team in this.
France can't answer with a 2 on the other end. In and out, rebounded by Becca Harris. Closing in on 3 minutes to go here in the second half. Automatic bid to the NCAA tournament on the line.
Illinois, throughout most of this game, they've only played 7 players. So those guys do have to be somewhat tired, but that's where you have to lock it up mentally.
Harris does as she nails a 3 to tie it at 56.
Great recognition by the senior, Rebecca Harris, the transfer. She transferred from Red Lake College to Illinois.
Freeman spinning into the lane. Can't get it to go. Cleared by Jenna Smith. Illinois has scored 6 straight points and an opportunity to take the lead on this possession.
Harris has averaged 10 points a game throughout the course of the season. In the Big Ten tournament, she has turned it up a notch. She's averaged 17 points a game.
Shot clock inside of 10. Entry pass is intercepted by Malone, who just set the Big Ten tournament record for steals, and she's fouled by Bjork. It's coming down to the wire here in Indianapolis for the Big Ten championship and a spot in the NCAA tournament. We're tied at 56 with 2 to play. What's the key here down the stretch for each team, Nance?
Well, first of all, that was a great foul by Harris, making Purdue take the ball out of bounds. But it's execution, just taking your time and ball faking to get the passing lane that you desire. And feel free to attack the rim.
And Malone pulls it out. And that shot attempt way off. She's had 3 or 4 air balls. That's not attacking the rim there.
No, that's settling. But when you see this game summary right here, this is what we talked about. Smith is doing what she's supposed to do. She's supposed to be a star, and she has.
Winner of this game gets the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. The loser likely will not get an at-large bid. Purdue 17-14 coming in. Illinois 19-13, but finished in 9th place in the Big Ten.
You want to contest shots. You don't want to foul people. Nice block by Campbell.
That's her second block, and Purdue will call a timeout. 2 remaining for the Boilermakers, 3 left for Illinois. Both teams with 6 team fouls committed here with 1:19 to go in a tie game. And what do you think Sharon Versup is telling her team right now?
Well, first of all, that's an excellent timeout. For a team that doesn't score a lot of points, you have to value the possession. I would bet that they're going to try and do a little bit of 4-round 1, keep it, when in doubt, stay outside of 3, let Campbell operate on the inside.
And Malone's had a lot of success when she drives to the basket, but when she settles for the jump shot, she's not had success. And you talked about it the last time they had the ball. Got to attack, got to go at the rim.
Yeah, but a lot of that is also the spacing. If her teammates are disciplined to their spacing, then she's going to have those attack gaps to get into. If they're not, defense is going to rotate and try and smother the ball.
And Lacey Simpson is back in the game for Illinois with 4 personal fouls. She's their second leading scorer so far in this game with 15 points. Purdue basketball in a tie game at 56.
But the perimeter also has to be ready on the catch to be ready to shoot.
France off the Campbell screen. Here's France for 3. She was open. She couldn't bury it though. Mosley's there. Got it blocked by Smith. And Smith controls and calls a timeout. Great job by Jenna Smith. And it'll be Illinois ball. 2 timeouts remaining for the Illini.
This is just great stuff. The open shot by France. It goes up. And just the fight underneath by Mosley. Going hard to the basket. And you know, you can see Jenna Smith right here just calling it and saying timeout, timeout, loud enough for the officials to hear it.
Great block, though, by Smith. 19 points, 11 rebounds, couple of blocks.
The thing that has really helped Purdue stay in this game in the second half, they cut their turnovers down. They only have 5 turnovers in the second half, 11 at halftime.
Each team with a pair of timeouts. Each team has committed 16 fouls.
Man-to-man defense now. You must go over the top if a shooter is coming off the screen.
Here's Bjork. She hit a shot at the end of the first half to give Illinois a 2-point lead. Shot clock at 5. Here's Smith. Can't hit the shot. It's rebounded by France, and Purdue will call a timeout with the shot clock off. 1 timeout remaining for the Boilermakers now. Meanwhile, 29 seconds to go. Each team has committed 6 fouls. Illinois with 2 timeouts remaining. 1 left for Purdue. Neither team has played an overtime game this year. Shot clock is off. Purdue basketball.
It is very important that whatever Purdue does, they do not leave time on the clock for Illinois to get a possession. See, I would back off Malone in the backcourt. She is too quick.
And there are no backcourt violations. No such thing in women's college basketball as a 10-second backcourt violation. But across the timeline is Malone. 7 seconds to go. Malone on the drive. Blocked again by Smith. It'll stay Purdue ball with 3 seconds left in regulation, and the Boilermakers will call their final timeout.
Absolutely love the intensity of this game. Malone doing what she does best, trying to get to the rim. Smith doing what she does best, just stand there and use her height and her reach to block that shot.
Purdue basketball, what are you thinking here if you're the Boilermakers? First good look you could get. You only got 3 seconds left.
Everything has to be going to the rim. You have a short clock right now. If the ball goes out to the perimeter, you probably won't get a chance for a good shot. Maybe a post-to-post type screen. Maybe you set the screen and you slip it and you roll back to the ball. Something that gives you a shot to either shoot it, one dribble, but it has to go to the rim.
Purdue ball, 3 seconds remaining. No timeouts for the Boilermakers. Tied at 56 with Illinois. Vakar Malone will inbound. Here's Freeman for the win. Short. Got another chance. Hit it! It counts! Purdue wins the Big Ten tournament! The officials will go to the monitor to see whether Freeman got it off before the clock hit 0.
That is a great piece of officiating by June Courteau and her staff. She signaled it good, but she went to her team, and they do have the opportunity to go to the monitor. To Kiki Freeman, great presence of mind to follow her shot and just go up with it.
2 opportunities for Freeman. She missed the first, but hit the second one. Let's see. Oh, she got it off. That's going to count.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, the fact that you don't box out is just Gordon, who has just been a quiet leader for this team. You know,
wow.
You just go nuts that she didn't turn and seal.
And oh so close for Illinois. The 9 seed gets all the way to the championship game, but as you see here, clearly released. Left her hand before the clock hit 0. Purdue is going to get the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. It'll be its 15th consecutive trip to the NCAAs and a record 7th Big Ten tournament title.
This has been a remarkable game with an even better finish. The shooter always has the benefit of knowing where the ball's going. She knew it was short.
It's official. Basket counts. Purdue wins. Heartbreak for the Illini, but a great run here in Indianapolis. Congratulations, though, to Purdue. 15th straight trip to the NCAA tournament as the Boilermakers win the Big Ten tournament title.